Thank you for joining us on another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. So much to celebrate and observe in the next half hour. A bit of heritage, female empowerment, and more. Stick around to find out what else we have in store.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, October 11. Jamaica's Energy Management and Efficiency Program has been bolstered with the injection of $40 million. 10 million of that amount comes by way of grant funding from the European Union Caribbean Investment Facility. Another $15 million is being provided through a loan from the Inter-American Development Bank. And the remaining $15 million is from a loan agreement with the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA. At the recent signing ceremony for the exchange of notes and record of discussions with the Japanese government, Finance Minister Audley Shaw said the agreement was timely. He said the funds would assist the island's plans to diversify its energy mix to include the introduction of liquefied natural gas as well as wind and solar renewable energy.
Energy conservation is critical in all its components parts. Among them is switching over to LED lights as an example. And the entire street lighting system across the country, we have to switch to LED lights. We want to encourage also people who are at home in your households, spend a few extra dollars, purchase LED lights, which can help you to sharply reduce your electricity bills.
The Energy Management and Efficiency Program is expected to strengthen government's conservation efforts in fuel usage and the implementation of energy efficiency measures across key agencies.
I strongly hope that the government of Japan's official development assistance that we are providing to this country will be a worthwhile contribution for energy conservation, which is essential for the further economic and sustainable development of this country.
The Ministry of National Security is to introduce 3 applications utilizing Geographic Information System, GIS, as the island strengthens its security apparatus. Portfolio Minister Robert Montego says the apps have been written by a joint Jamaica Defense and Constabulary Force 22-member team. The applications are the e-Policing app, the JamPulse Stat app, and the Jamaica Eye app. E-policing will allow lawmen and women to report for work by way of their thumbprints, eliminating the need for them to go to a physical police station. The JamPulse Stat app places police crime statistics on a GIS map to help the predictive and preventative capabilities of the police force. And the Jamaica Eye app will network all the CCTV cameras owned by the government and that of 500 private CCTV feeds to be geolocated and used.
At the back end, we will have a video analytics suite, and therefore we'll be able to utilize facial recognition and geofencing and tracking, so that once, if we are trying to track a car, once it passes these cameras, we'll be able to do that.
Minister Montego was speaking Tuesday at day 1 of a 2-day GIS user conference at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Government is to begin pre-scoping works to upgrade the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital from a Type B to a Type A facility. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says technical experts are being engaged to start the pre-scoping works, which are to begin in 5 months' time.
Which means identifying what we have, identify what we need, and developing the projectize the expansion plan in order to determine costs and what we need to do from infrastructure to personnel to equipment.
The minister was speaking at the recent opening of the hospital's expanded operating theatre and renovated male surgical ward. Still on health, by the end of the fiscal year, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is to receive a framework report into how the island's free healthcare policy can be sustained. The framework will ensure that health service is delivered efficiently and effectively and is properly funded. The Prime Minister says the Universal National Health Fund will help with that.
Which is what most progressive developing countries have done. They put in place a Universal National Health Fund. So everybody contributes to the health fund, so that at the point of need, they can access the service and then draw on the health fund afterwards.
And finally, the process to remove criminal records from our national heroes and their supporters has begun. On Tuesday, Culture Minister Olivia Grange tabled a bill to absolve certain national heroes and their supporters from criminal liability. National heroes to benefit from the bill include Sam Sharp, Marcus Garvey, Paul Bogle, and George William Gordon. Supporters, sympathizers, participants by association, and other freedom fighters will also benefit from the bill. Fulfilling a commitment made in her budget presentation, Culture Minister Olivia Grange said the bill is aimed at redeeming and restoring the dignity and integrity of the freedom fighters who made the ultimate sacrifice of dying for their beliefs.
We, the children of these freedom fighters, who gave up life and liberty so we can be free, cannot sit in silence and agree to a system that rendered those who freed us with their lives as criminals. This bill gives new life to these our heroes and unsung heroes. This bill, Mr. Speaker and colleagues, this bill seeks to redress the wrongs and set the captives free.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Obesity is a heavy burden weighing on the world. Up next, find out how you can play a part in limiting the effects of this condition.
Overweight is defined as having an excess amount of body weight, but that can occur from increased amounts of muscle, bone, fat, or water, whereas obesity is defined as having an excess amount of body fat.
The excess fat that leads to a diagnosis of obesity mainly occurs when the body takes in more calories from foods than it is able to burn through exercise and normal daily activities. The result is a major health threat, as obesity is usually accompanied by other issues, such as type 2 diabetes mellitus and non-communicable diseases such as hypertension, heart disease, stroke, and various cancers.
Obese men are more likely than non-obese men to die of cancers of the colon, rectum, and prostate, and obese women are more likely than non-obese women to die of cancers of the gallbladder, breast, cervix, uterus, and ovaries. There are other conditions like gallbladder disease of different kinds, which are associated with obesity.
Infertility and poor quality of life can also result. So diagnosis and management of obesity is of enormous significance.
And there are ways to assess it. The commonest way to assess obesity is by using what we call the body mass index, or BMI. And the BMI is essentially your body weight in kilograms divided by your height in meters squared. And we have scales to judge what your weight status would be. Less than 18.5 BMI would be considered to be underweight. Normal weight is 18.5 to 24.9. 25 to 29.9 would be considered to be overweight, and BMIs of greater than 30 are all considered to be obese.
It's generally easier to gain weight than it is to lose it, which means avoiding practices that lead to excess fat consumption is the easiest route to avoiding obesity. But if you're already overweight, the process may be difficult, but it is achievable. You may need help from physicians, nutritionists, physical trainers, and even therapists, so you should seek them out if that's the case. Either way, most experts will tell you that weight loss requires behavioral change, lifestyle changes that are gradual and long-term.
The problem in our society, of course, is the same as anywhere else. Less physical activity, we're working harder, we don't have time to schedule exercise, and of course unhealthy eating habits. So more fast food, less fruits and vegetables, less freshly prepared foods, and consumption of large amounts of sugar-sweetened beverages. So this is what fuels it.
Eating healthy helps to keep us healthy. Are you thinking about what would be a healthy and balanced meal, but just can't decide on what foods you should be having? Jamaica's food-based dietary guidelines can provide you with answers. The guideline from the Ministry of Health provides information for individuals, health professionals, nutrition educators, and the food industry. It encourages a daily diet of items from all the food groups. That should include fruits and vegetables, as well as peas and beans and nuts. And the things we ought to avoid are clear: excess salt, that is more than the daily recommended amount, as well as fats and oils and sugary foods and drinks. Also,
if you lead a sedentary lifestyle, then it's very easy for you to become obese because you're not going to be able to burn off the calories that you take in. And of course, if you eat unhealthily, you're more likely to become obese because your body's going to store all these excess calories as fat.
So one of the ways to counteract obesity is to engage in regular physical exercise, like going for brisk walks, jogging, swimming, or riding a bicycle. Regular exercises like these burn calories and get rid of excess fat and weight, helping to control blood cholesterol, blood sugar, and even high blood pressure. Experts in health services say children can be set up to become obese later in life. The Ministry of Health is working to address these issues as it focuses on key strategies to improve overall maternal and child health services. Don't be weighted down by obesity. Take charge of your good health. Eat well, exercise, and get about the business of living well.
International Day of the Girl Child is observed to recognize the rights and unique challenges facing young women. Unfortunately, sexual abuse is one of the major problems preventing young ladies from achieving their full potential. Nothing can take away the scars of abuse, but a proper support system can help. The Ministry of Justice provides support for victims of sexual abuse through the Victim Services Division. Find out more about their work next.
The issue of sexual assault against women and children, including rape, is a major concern for Jamaica. The government is working hard to not only put away the perpetrators of violence against women and children, but also to provide support to the victims. One organization which offers tremendous support to the victims of sex crimes is the Victim Services Division of the Ministry of Justice. Last year alone, the division provided assistance to more than 13,000 victims.
The government provides this support for victims, and it will provide the support from the day you become a victim of crime. It will follow you through the process. If you have to go to court, it has various innovative approaches that is designed to build your capacity to go through your victimization. The court support, court orientation program of the Victim Services Division is one which has gotten the commendation of police and court officials right across this country. It has several components. Well, even before we actually get into the court, we had a phase where we provided technical capacity building for judges and magistrates across the island, prosecutors, police officers, in understanding the dynamics when a person becomes a victim of a crime. So then there is the working with court, where there's an orientation program which involves us taking particularly children to court before the court day to help them to understand the lay of the land. We actually now provide them with a sense of orientation to understand what it means to be ready for court, and we want to make clear that this is not coaching them or interfering with the evidence and the facts of the case. This is just dealing with the psycho-emotional and the realities from, going to court back and forth. We also realized that a number of children were being victims of sex crime, and it's traumatic And we felt we needed to bring just these victims into group counseling to be able to deal with some of the issues. We call it an overcomers program.
The Victim Services Division provides support to all, inclusive of free confidential counseling for all ages, no matter the victim's gender or sexual orientation.
It has gotten commendation from victims. We have a 95–96% rating among the persons who we serve.
We are children and we have rights. We have a right to be
protected, provided for, and included.
Don't beat me up, don't belittle me, and please don't molest me.
I am under 13. I should not be working for a living.
That is child labor. It is illegal.
Stop leaving me alone. I am too young to provide for myself. I need your guidance.
Protect our nation's children. They have rights too. To learn more about children's rights, call or visit the offices of the Child Development Agency.
You know the saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt? For many children and even some adults, this saying is not quite true. Words do hurt, and sometimes the wounds take longer to heal. Parents, your words have a great impact on how children feel about themselves. Saying simple things such as, I love you, well done, and I'm proud of you, can go a far way in building a child's self-esteem. Children with high self-esteem are eager to try new things, are not afraid of failure, and are quicker to own up to their mistakes. When you say positive things to children, they feel supported, and if they have a problem, they are more likely to come to you to talk about it and find solutions. Wouldn't you want that for your child? Investing in our future means investing in our children. Well-adjusted children become well-adjusted adults who will raise well-adjusted children. Start the cycle of positivity with your child. Speak kind words to them. Make them feel supported. That way, you will plant a seed that will grow and bear fruit that will help to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
Did you know that in a recent survey done by the OCA in schools across Jamaica, 43% of the students received inappropriate messages from strangers? The OCA wants you to be smart online. Never speak to persons you don't know. Parents, encourage your children to be social but be smart.
This message was brought to you by the Office of the Children's Advocate with support from UNICEF.
As we continue to celebrate our great heritage and legacy, we remember those brave men and women who helped secure our freedom. Our next feature looks at the life and the legacy of a woman girls can look to for inspiration. Jamaica's only national heroine, Nanny of the Maroons.
Lend me a nanny now.
Nanny? Which of the money is that again? You know it's long time me no use Jamaican money. Cause me not here, me in foreign.
It's the $500, the one with the only female hero on it. Nanny of the Maroons? Or you remember she either?
Yeah, you know, a little bit.
What? Oh, you feel remember the great Nanny of the Maroons? Alright, let me give you a run through.
Today, Moortown and other communities in the Blue and John Crow Mountains of northeastern Jamaica stand as permanent reminders of the bravery and fortitude of the island's only female national hero, Nanny of the Maroons. Nanny was among a group of brave enslaved men and women who dared to resist their master's rule by running away. These runaway slaves formed communities in the hilly interior of the island and fiercely protected them from the Spanish and later the British. After decades of warfare, the British finally yielded by recognizing the Maroons as an independent people with the signing of a treaty in 1739. The autonomy of the Windward Maroons is largely due to Nanny's tenacity as a revolutionary chiefess. Most of what we know about Maroon leaders, including Nanny, has been passed down through oral history, but that hasn't diluted her prominence in Jamaican folklore. According to stories, Nanny came to Jamaica as a slave from the Ashanti tribe of the Akan region of West Africa. It is said that she, along with her brothers Akompo, Kojo, Johnny, Kofi, and Kwaho, ran away from a St. Thomas plantation, settling in the mountains of Portland. Nanny remained in the Blue Mountains while her brothers branched out into other mountainous regions on the western end of the island. Popularly known as Nanny Town, Tony River, as the Maroons called it, was led by Nanny. Nanny's community was well organized, with its members surviving on animals raised and hunted, as well as crops grown and raided from plantations. Security came in the form of the location of the community high in the Blue Mountains, weapons seized in raids, and traditional African weapons of bow, arrows, and spears. Tony River was destroyed in one of the many fights between the Maroons and the British, causing Nanny to move her community deeper into the hills to what is now present-day Moortown.
Oh, me remember now. But you see, this part of the story, I hear it time and time again. But what I'm curious about though is what kind of woman she was. I mean, like, with all the fighting to maintain freedom, a family. Did she have any husbands?
Yes, man. Nanny was a woman for all seasons. From the stories me hear, she didn't marry a man named Arnold, but them never have any children. That no means that she never married any children, you know. She was mommy nanny, granny nanny. She helped raise most of the children in Tony River.
Innit?
Nanny was our mother. She was our queen, she was our priestess, and she was our chieftainess. Because she operated in all four roles, right? She was mother for the entire community. She was royal, she was regal, right? She was a queen. In terms of the spiritual ways of the community, in the guiding of the community, she was that person who would take on that role for the community. She was a military strategist for the community as well, so therefore she was a chiefess. Any leader of any ilk or any quality generally rules with two gloves. You know, two separate pair of gloves. One is a cotton glove and one is a iron glove. And you have the cotton glove on and then you have the iron one and you put the cotton one over it.
And Queen Nanny did just that, making a community out of different African tribes with kindness and compassion. But she was also a stern leader, dealing with dissent while making tough decisions. Nanny was not only the political and military leader of her tribe, she also served as spiritual leader. Before Nanny and the Maroon warriors would go off to battle the British, she would prepare them for ambushes, the popular style of Maroon combat.
Warriors would be trained and everybody would be given a cut and they would send to a special pool in the river, right? Where they would go and dip in the water. And if you come back out and your cut is not well, then you don't go to fight. But anybody who dip and come back out and their cut was well, then they can go into fight. You know, there are times when it requires a consultation with the jege, and if you consult the jege and the jege tell you can't go, then you don't go to fight. You do a lot of things, and that was going on responsibility.
Always looking out for the well-being of her fellow Africans, Granny Nanny rescued slaves from the plantations on the plains. It's often said that after the Maroons signed the treaty with the British, they began to turn back runaway slaves, or even captured them for the British.
The fact is that the Maroons would have taken in more persons than they would have returned. 200 years ago, 275 years ago, it had much more vegetation than now. It was much more covered, and more people could have come and stay in the community undetected by the authorities. The authorities had 2 white superintendents who were supposed to reside with the Maroons, and most of the time the Maroons make life for them rough, so that they had to leave. So many of the time they never really have the superintendent, the white superintendent living with them, so they could take in anybody that they want. The Maroons would have deliberately gone to the plantation and take away slaves from the plantation.
What about her death though? Like, how did she die?
Well, the British want people to believe that them loyal slave copy did kill her in the war. But the Maroons themselves nanny lived long after the war ended. She buried in a bump grave in Moortown.
Her legacy. Talk to me about her legacy. Legacy.
Today, Maroon communities such as Moortown continue to keep Nanny's warrior spirit and Maroon heritage alive.
We like Jamaica to know that we're still here. You know, the generation is still here, and we're still keeping the things together. You know what I mean? We still drum, we still dance, you know. So Jamaica can just keep on, you know, come and who want to can come and visit the community, and we're here, you know, to take you on the tours wherever you want to go. You want to go to Nanny Falls, you know what I mean? You want to sit and reason about Nanny. We're still here. It's not like the culture dead out or anything like that.
So Nanny was truly a mystical woman of all seasons.
Yes. Like, when I tell you more about the heroine, I can't get the nanny now.
You're not easy, you know. But no problem. You can have your nanny.
They flit from bloom to bloom in search of the precious nectar nestled between each delicate petal. In a flurry of color and magnificence, these birds are gracious, beautiful, and alive with the glory of nature. The doctor bird, or national bird, is one of over 300 species of hummingbirds. There are 2 species of the doctor bird, the red-billed streamer-tail and the black-billed streamer-tail. The beautiful feathers of this bird have no counterpart in the entire bird population because they produce iridescent colors characteristic only to that family. The doctor bird is one of Jamaica's smallest birds and measures between 2 to 4 inches in width from the tip of one wing to the other. Despite its minuscule size and weight, it flaps its wings so fast that they almost seem to disappear in mid-air. The doctor bird, or national bird, another one of our island's indigenous treasures.
This is where we close another chapter of Jamaica Magazine, but our story continues online. Visit our YouTube page or our website to watch other episodes of the show. We value your feedback, so send an email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm or drop us a message on our Facebook page. On behalf of the entire crew here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.